As the season ends, obviously it's a time for players to recover and reset. So for us, this is really the time on the development side that we look to take over and really start to reestablish some of those core skills that players need to work at.
Kind of the beauty of RHA is that we get to continue their development that we worked on all season in this next 2 months. This next 2 months is focused on things like strength, power, speed, but it's all individualized to the group, all individualized to the player even.
Each individual player obviously has different things that they're going to work at, but from a group setting, we try and really narrow in on things that, you know, a U15 defenseman needs to have in order to be able to make the jump to the U17 or the U18 team. I think another key aspect for us that we've built in within the program is sprint test, real simple test, but really what we're looking for that within that is progression. One of the biggest things players want to progress at is speed. So it allows us to be able to see, you know, whether they're progressing through that. The other element that we've added within those weeks is that they'll see our figure skating coordinator. And really the idea of that is to establish, again, that foundation of skating. So it gives them a little bit of a different feel than a regular practice and really allows them to focus strictly on skating for that day. The reason we've spread it out over those weeks is that so we do see progression within that.
Once they're in these individualization sections, they are going to get put into different groups. Some kids work on power, some kids work on speed, some kids work on hypertrophy. The core of the workout is all the same. All the kids come in and do that, but the individualization part of it is when outside of that, some kids will drop off onto their speed series, some kids will drop on muscle mass. The beauty of this setup that we have is that they get that individual aspect, but it's also a team workout. Our methodology is we always pick up on their weaknesses. Not that we don't care about their strengths, but the weaknesses are far more important to build to increase that athletic power, athletic development.
That constant communication is really the biggest thing that you're going to see between us, Testify, and obviously the team coaches. You know, we did some ISO holds on one leg to be able to improve that balance on the ice. Did you see that coordination on the ice? Yeah, we did, maybe we didn't, which really just brings it all together for that integration piece. We also have overspeed where we're using bungees on the ice. Again, the idea of that is to get players in those settings where now they're feeling that speed and they're able to push through that and they're able to gain that step and that speed that we want to be able to see them master. Because without that, players aren't going to progress. They can have the technique, but without the resistance and without that training feel on the ice, they're not going to progress and they're not going to see that. And that combination of on ice and off ice, building both of those together, is really what's going to lead players to ultimately increase their speed.
An athlete should take away from this developing self-accountability. Strength training is strength training. Everyone does that. But we like to foster accountability. We like to foster mental development, learn how to work hard, learn how to put care into your body, but we really help develop the person and the athlete all around, not just the strength.
When we look at this skill block and when we look at RHA as a whole and our role within that, there's 3 things that we want to establish with players, and that's habits, details, and progressions. So when we look at the spring, we're looking at, okay, this is where they're starting, where do we want them to progress to? And it's always thinking about those habits and those details, but we'll provide that foundation of those progressions that's going to help them to be able to get their game to the next level